I want to bring in Congressman Eric Cantor, one of the frequent guests on this program, Republican. And right off the top, sir, I want to talk to you about General McChrystal. The meeting has ended. He's met with the president. He may or may not be fired. We don't know. But I want to ask you, sir, you're right in the middle of things in Washington. How does America look when we've got this kind of problem between the commander-in-chief and his senior general? Just generally speaking, how are we perceived with this?
Well, Stuart, you know, my concern is for something like this to occur, to have a general or his supporting staff make statements such as those that have been made, raises questions about what's going on in the ground in Afghanistan. Raises questions about whether we're providing the necessary resources for the generals as well as their troops to be successful in executing their mission. That is my concern here. Obviously, the president will do what he'll do as commander-in-chief. It's his decision to make as to the fate of General McChrystal. But long term, we've got to be concerned about our success in Afghanistan in protecting not only our soldiers and military men and women, but our U.S. interests in the region.
Yep. I want to move on to the state of the economy and economic policy for a second. There's a great debate here. Should we spend more or spend less right now? Tax more or tax less? And I'm interested in your position following the November elections. If the Republicans sweep the House, it's possible, if they do, will you go ahead and allow the tax increase on upper income earners on January the 1st?
Well, Republicans are not for allowing there to be tax increases. As you know, Stuart, consistently, we believe in pro-growth tax policy because real growth, real sustainable jobs come from the private sector. Right now, we've got this veil of uncertainty that is cloaking Washington, and people in the private sector, investors, small businessmen, and women are saying, what's going to happen as far as taxes? What's going to happen as far as the debt and interest rates? And that we must deal with. And in fact, the responses to those issues is going to affect the kind of country we're going to be going forward.
Yes, sir. Because look, we've got a financial audience. People with money are watching this program, and they want to know, if you guys win in November, will you go ahead with the tax increase January the 1st? And you're saying no. You're not going to do it.
Stuart,
clearly?
Stuart, I think you will see Republicans continue to advocate pro-growth tax policies and try and do everything we can to cut off the increase in taxes, whether it's on capital gains, corporate tax rates, etc. Sure. But I think the larger question right now is about spending, Stuart. It's about the incurrence of debt. And people have real concerns about that. We've even heard from Germany now, who says to the United States, stop focusing on domestic spending and start paying attention to your debt, because it's a global problem.
Who would have thought that we would be preached at by Europeans? But that's another story. I believe you have a program, I think it's called YouCut, where you ask your constituents to send in ideas for how to cut the budget. You do it on YouTube. Am I right on this?
Well, right, Stuart, it is a program called YouCut. You could go and Google that word, or you go to the Republican Whip website. And every week we put up 5 options that people can vote on to choose the best way to cut the federal deficit. And what we do is take the winning vote the next week and bring it to an up or down vote on the House floor. This week, what we'll be voting on is a provision that will potentially save $5 to $10 billion, and that is to eliminate the funding of the IRS agents that are going to be required to enforce the Obamacare health care law. And again, that goes to the root of what the health care bill is about, is expanding the reach of government. It is enforcing the mandate that is going to be imposed on every American, and it'll save us $10 billion if we get rid of that. Now again, the YouCut votes, Stuart, have been in succession each week. We have reached a point where we have demonstrated that we want to save $100 billion. Now the critics say, well, this is really not real money. Well, I say to them, we've got to start somewhere. We've got to begin to change the culture so that we don't ruin America for our kids and theirs.
Congressman Eric Cantor, YouCut, YouCut, got it. Congressman, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart.